I'm Danielle Hale, Chief Economist for Realtor.com, and here's what you need to know this week as St. Patrick's Day and the changing season bring plenty of green. We're in the quiet period before Fed meetings, in which decision makers do not make public comments. But this period has been anything but quiet. Last week's hawkish testimony from Chair Powell prepared markets for a potentially faster pace of rate hikes. But recent bank failures and solvency concerns have turned the table. The European Central Bank still raised its policy rates by 0.5% this week, but its key policy rate is several points lower than the Fed's. Inflation continues to cool gradually, roughly in line with expectations. Prices for key necessities, shelter and food, continued to climb, but more recent housing and rent data, including from Realtor.com, shows slowing prices that will eventually be picked up by the government's measure. And producer prices cooled even faster than expected. Cooling inflation and financial instability have reset expectations and raised the stakes for next week's Fed meeting. My expectation is a 25 basis point rate hike, which will signal that the Fed is still committed to its goal of getting inflation back to target, while also paying attention to broader financial and economic conditions. If instead the vote is to pause, I'd expect language emphasizing that this does not mean the end of the tightening cycle. Already, volatility has played out favorably for borrowers in the form of lower mortgage rates, which eased after several weeks of climbing. On balance, mortgage rates remain a pretty big wild card, so it's wise for potential buyers to use tools like a mortgage calculator to explore how a wide range of mortgage rates impacts their housing budget and target home price. In the meanwhile, Realtor.com housing data were remarkably stable this week, especially for home price growth, inventories, and time on market. The only difference was among new sellers who continue to lag behind year-ago levels, but by a smaller amount this week. Pessimists will focus on the continued declines as sellers register lower sentiment, but optimists will note the shrinking gap. New construction picked up in February as builders added much-needed supply to the housing market. Of note, single-family construction gained alongside multifamily this month. And finally, my colleague Hannah Jones published our Best Time to Sell report, which identifies the best week for sellers to put their home on the market across several key indicators. April 16th to 22nd is expected to be the seasonal sweet spot in 2023. And since survey data tell us that it takes most homeowners several weeks or more to get their home ready for sale, now is the time to start preparing. You'll find all the details along with our housing data for download at Realtor.com/research. You can also follow us on Twitter for real-time updates. And one final editorial note, we are converting this weekly video into a monthly update. More frequent data and information will continue to be shared on our website and Twitter.